while I have a $20 million advertising budget today, in 2007, my advertising budget was zero. That's not true. It was less than zero. I was getting all my cases from another lawyer who I call in the book Sid. Thousands of cases a year, millions of dollars. 2011, he walked in the door and he said, I need to come back to your office. I need to see you. We went back to my office and he said, I know I've been sending you cases for 12 years, but this is I'm not sending you any more cases, starting right now. I had 25, 27 employees, had no idea what I was going to do. Lots of mouths to feed. So he left. I was shocked. I was humiliated. I was distraught. I said to John, what are we going to do? Do I start firing people today? He said, give me 10 minutes. He went into his office. He pulled up the jumbotrons, and he realized that we were spending a lot of money in referral fees. All this money that this lawyer was sending us, we were sending $4 or $5 million a year in referral fees. And he says, we can do this. So I said, okay, what do we need to do? He says, you need to take $1 million out of your savings, and you need to invest it back in this firm, and you need to put it all on TV. And if it doesn't work, you lost $1 million. If it works, it works.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this very special edition of the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. In this episode, we're going to share some of the content from our amazing conference this year, 2025, called TGR Live, Growth Strategies for Law Firms. In this episode, you're going to meet Mike Morse, the founder of the $200 million Michigan-based personal injury law firm. And Mike's going to share his amazing growth story. He's going to share his commercials, his community activity, and how he's built such an amazing brand in Michigan. And the reason why we're sharing this great content from 2025 is to tell you a little bit about 2026. We have an amazing lineup already booked of speakers for 2026. I just got the brochures, as a matter of fact. Some of the folks we're going to have, Steve Gersten, my friend. He's an amazing guy, also with a multi-million-dollar law firm. He's going to share 4 ways to make millions more from your cases. Stacy Brown Randall is an amazing author, and she's going to share how to get referrals without even asking. She's fantastic, Stacy Brown Randall. Chris Keller, another attorney, 5 disciplines to transform your life and your practice. And Chris has really transformed his life and his practice. He's running triathlons, and his business is growing leaps and bounds. Cassidy Lewis, the CMO to the stars, my friend and Chief Marketing Officer, Cassidy Lewis, will be with us from Cooper Hurley. And last but not least, Rob Levine is booked in. Rob's also a very successful law firm owner, former policeman, has a tremendous law firm business, and he's using technology really fantastically. He's going to share AI strategies for your law firm. So don't miss it, March 16th and 17th, 2026. And now, without further ado, here's our live recording from our keynote speaker, Mike Morse, from 2025 TGR Live.
So for the first half of my career, it was just me. I was running my firm, doing everything, hiring everybody, running to Costco, getting the paper, getting the coffee, signing up every client, hiring everybody, trying every case, doing depositions. How many in this room feel like you're doing everything in your firms? Like most stuff. Okay, I see a lot of hands. And then in 2007, I decided I couldn't do it anymore. I had about 25 employees. We were doing about $17 million in settlements and verdicts. And I hired Hino Wikman as my business coach in 2007. And since then, we've gone up from 25 employees to 250 employees. We're going to do $267 million in settlements and verdicts this year. And along the way, I was fired from my first job. My office building burnt down. The guy who was sending me all my work, 70% of my work, pulled the rug on me in one day. And more. Lots more problems. But because we developed this framework that we call Fireproof, which actually I just realized it's 5 years ago, literally this month. COVID was 5 years ago this month, and the book came out the same time, which this could have been called COVID Proof. tornado proof, it is fireproof. Could have been called hurricane proof, right? If you follow the rules in this book, we believe that you can withstand anything. And we are now, because of the book, within months of the book, I had lawyers all across the country calling me and saying, please show us the way. We want you to hold our hand through this process. And we set up a coaching program and a mastermind program. And if you want any information about that, it's great. There are people in this room who are in the coaching program and are in the masterminds, and they're finding exceptional growth. Let's dive in. So when I was asked to talk today, I've had 5 years to reflect. We've coached hundreds of clients. What's really, really working? Now, everything's working, but I only have a half hour today, so I'm going to dive in pretty quickly into what's happening. If you have a question, feel free. I think we're going to have some time at the end. But before I started coaching, this was my life. I had 20 people, 25 people, 30 people all coming at me. Every single question, open door policy. Until Hino Wikman looked at me and said, this is how your life should be right now. First meeting with my coach in 2007, I had one of my head paralegals said, why don't all the paralegals come to me with questions? My head lawyer, I only had a few, but he said to me, I'll take all the questions and my secretaries will all go to my head secretary. And that freed me up to do the things that I wanted to do, the things that were in my sweet spot. What was my sweet spot? Well, I learned that I'm a visionary. I come up with 100 ideas a day, most not good. I have clear ideas. I create. The ideas just don't stop. I'm always reading. I'm always going to seminars. I'm always listening to podcasts. One of my strengths is talking to my clients. I used to think I was the best at everything, but I learned that I had to delegate some stuff, and I was very entrepreneurial. What I was very bad at, and I hated doing, and I wanted to jump off the building some days, was manage a firm. I was not the integrator. I couldn't harmoniously unite major functions of the firm. I couldn't manage everybody and keep everything running. Focus, accountability, alignment. I wasn't good at reading long contracts. If anybody's ever sent me an email longer than this, you know I'm not reading it, or a text message. So I learned that an integrator was crucial to running any business, and it wasn't me. So, and because you're going to get to, if you have your right number two, and as some of you are smaller firms that I met last night at the cocktail party, this is perfect, because I was exactly where you were in 2007. I didn't know how to delegate. I thought I was the best at everything. So what we do at Fireproof coaching and masterminds is we spend a lot of time on this, teaching you that your life one day should be operated out of that top left box. Chris, do we talk about this? Are you working on this box? How much has delegating changed your practice in your life? You've doubled, tripled, quadrupled since you've been doing this Fireproof method, true? So you take this piece of paper and you keep it on your desk for a week or two and you fill out these boxes. This is your own interpretation of what you do and what you like to do and what you don't like to do. There's a lot of shit you don't like to do but you're good at. A lot. And there's a lot of stuff that you don't like to do and you're not so good at, and you're doing them every single day. The goal, the sweet spot, your unique ability is in that top left box. I live in that box. I've been in that box for the last 10 years, and it's freaking wonderful. Okay? That's so that is one of the number one things that you need to figure out in your practice. If you want to scale, if you want to make more money, if you want to work less, if you want to be happier, you got to figure out this more than anything. This is my world today. I'm the visionary. John Knockhazel is my integrator. He's got 11 subgroups, sub-managers under him, and all the employees under them, 250 of them. But if this was 500 people or 1,000 people, my life is the same, because I'm the visionary with a closed-door policy. Nobody's allowed to come to me anymore. All you guys have open-door policies. I'm not even going to ask for a show of hands. But when I shut my door, good things started happening. I was able to focus. I was able to execute. Figure out if you're a visionary or an integrator by reading Traction, by reading Rocket Fuel, which is another Hino Wikman book, and learn how to delegate and elevate. I think out of the first chapter of my book, those are the most important takeaways. Second most important takeaway is the jumbotron principle. So why do we have jumbotrons? Why was Jay talking so much about data? When we came out with this book 5 years ago, people were not talking about data the way they're talking about data now. But just to give you a quick visual, this is the Rose Bowl last year. I took that picture. And why do the coaches and players are always staring up at them, up at the numbers? They want to know if they're going to how to win this game. How many points do they need? How much time's left? How many downs? How many yards? This is how you win a game. Before 2007, this was my jumbotron at my office. Right here. That screen that you're looking at. I knew nothing. I did not know our numbers. Now I know 250 numbers. This is 6 or 8 of them that are just examples. Here are my jumbotron categories. We set this up for our Fireproof clients if they want it. But I get 10 calls a week from law firms wanting to join a mastermind, wanting to join our coaching program. And for one of the first questions I ask them is, okay, great, tell me about your firm. What was your gross revenue last year? What was your percentage of profit last year? Well, it depends. What's your average fee? What's your average case value? What's your average to get a case in the door? Most people don't know those things to the penny. We require our Fireproof clients to know those numbers. And once they know those numbers, they can make some really, really good, fast, great, quick decisions to propel your firm. I can't make a decision any longer without the data. And you may say, well, what data do you need to do this decision? I will have an answer for you. And you can all test me on that. I don't care if it's from hiring, if it's from, should we go into this practice area? Anything you could think of, you must look at your data first. I'm going to fly through some slides. We use Power BI. Every law firm we work with has a different software system, but we get your data out of your systems. We put it into our Power BI formats, and we give it back to you on a weekly basis. We're also the only coaching program that will sit with you in your level 10 meetings every single week to hold you accountable, to give you free software to run your meetings and make sure that people at your meeting tables are doing what they need to be done every week. Chris, how are those meetings going for you now? Did you have somebody in the group with you from Fireproof? And you run on 90 software, and it keeps everybody accountable. Fabulous. So this was the year, this is actually a few years ago. We had a big goal, but every single week we look at this. On the right side here is your pods or your teams and who's doing what and who's on track and who's off track and how much have they done through the year. I don't guess, is an employee doing well? Are they productive? Are they making me money? I know every employee in my building, 250 of them, and they're actually all remote. Most are remote. 80% are remote, 20% straggle in the office once in a while. That's a different conversation. But it's working for us. And how's it working for us? Because of these jumbotrons. I knew what my numbers were before COVID, and everybody was in my office, and I know what my numbers are after COVID, where everybody's at home, and our numbers are still going like this. Why would I drag people back into the office? So again, this is just another way to look at it. You could slice and dice it any way you want on the right-hand side. You could see what weeks are good, what weeks are bad. You can look for trends, you can look for years, you can look for disbursements, average fees, who's doing well, which lawyers are doing better than others, whose averages are higher. I track things like dollars per day. This is one of John Knockhazel's kind of more complicated things, but the more dollars per day, the better. And you could see on the left, we blocked out the names of the lawyers not to embarrass them, but some lawyers are in the 292, 124 range, and some are in the 40, 50 range. So then I know who I got to go coach, who I need to train how to negotiate better, who I need to train to bring in more money. Another way to look at it, counts of settlements, right? You're all looking for trends. You got to look for, what should we talk about this week? We're not going to talk about the good. No. We're going to talk about the bad. What shit's not going right now, and let's focus on that because we don't have time to stop and sit around and pat ourselves on the back. We're going to go to where the issues are, where the problems are. This is just one scorecard. Tells us what's outstanding. On this particular day, I had $41,988,000 waiting to come in the door. That's not true. Total outstanding has already come in. Waiting disbursement was $3,273,000. And these are all pods, so lawyers. So I can see who's got what outstanding. I could go to them. Why is this outstanding? What are we waiting for? Some lawyers move faster than others. We all know that every employee is not created equal. We know that, right? So this data helps you identify your weak links, identify your B and C players all the time. This is just another look at some leads and signups. And, you know, if I'm watching these trends and my trends are going down, you know how many lawyers call me and say, I'm not doing so well, Mike. We've been hurting for about a year and a half. I said, a year and a half. And you're coming to me now when you're down here? 3 weeks when you see your numbers going like this, you better make a change. What's not working? Are there new advertisers in the market? Is there a link broken on your website, which happens all the frickin' time? We've done these audits like Jay nicely did for us here today. And every time we find people's websites and forms not working, you should be having people check your websites all the time. It happens all the time. Jay, does it happen? Not with your clients. I'm sure you don't lose links or break links. Never for you. But you've seen it in other companies, right? That shit breaks. And you think people are watching? They're not watching. Some people are watching. Another look, another view. John plays with these things because he wants to know which intake agents are doing better than others. We have 20 different intake agents. Who can close a deal? Who can get a sign up? Averages work. Averages matter. Averages are everything. Averages don't lie. That's why we're able to predict exactly what we're going to do every single year, almost to the penny. But if you got somebody signing up 93% of the cases and you got other people signing up 63% of the cases, you better fire that person really darn quick. Or you better start listening to that person's call pretty darn quick. But not wait a month or two or three. Your average fee, what, $5, $15, $20, $30,000, whatever it is? Every one of those cases you lose because of a bad intake agent is your average fee. So this tells you, intake and how many are wanted, but not signed, right? That's an important number. If you wanted 100, but you only signed 90, what happened to those other 10? I have people looking at those. I have people listening to those calls. I have people trying to call them back. Why didn't we get those? We're the best law firm in town. We do the most for our community. I got the best hair of any lawyer in town. Why wouldn't they call me? We got to figure that shit out. Here are, we got lots of stuff about TV and billboards and spends and which commercials are running and which commercials are doing better than others. And if you don't forecast, you're missing out. I don't care if you're bringing in $1 million a year in revenue or you're bringing in $87 million in revenue. This is the formula. A really good CPA, CFO, accountant, your integrator should figure this out. In January of every single year, John Knockhazel looks at me and says, we're going to do this year $267 million. If we live and follow our budget, you, Mike Morse, are going to bring home 40% of that. Like, okay. Gives me incentive to follow the budget, not go do something stupid and buy an extra 200 billboards or shoot an expensive Super Bowl commercial or do other stuff. But you got to live your budget. You all should be looking at your budget every single day, and you should be harnessing your data. And so within the last 15 years, John has predicted within 1% my income, the firm's income for the last 15 years. And we settled a case last year for $37 million. I had a verdict last year for $75 million. And a lot of you personal injury lawyers and criminal lawyers around the room are thinking, you can't predict. You can't predict what I'm going to do. Bullshit. Chris, can we predict? Are you predicting now? Is it pretty close? I'm not paying him to say any of this stuff. I didn't even know he was going to be here till this morning. It's just true. It works. And half of you or most of you are thinking that I'm high or something, which I promise you I'm not. And he is, but I'm definitely not. Forecasting. Get on it. All right, so here's timing of disbursements, another thing. If you guys go back and learn your numbers, you're going to see that it's the same every single year. I don't care if it's divorce, I don't know if it's a criminal practice, personal injury, your timing is the same, okay? And if you merge it all together, years and years of data, you're going to see all these forecasts. So my takeaway for you is to get yourself a really, really robust jumbotron. If you need help, we have some free forms. And if you're in our masterminds or in our coaching program, you have access to have people build them for you. The most fun thing that I like to talk about is how to make your phones ring more. And I actually think that's the easiest part because I love it and I have fun with it. And I just want you all to know, while I have a $20 million advertising budget today, in 2007, my advertising budget was zero. That's not true. It was less than zero. I was getting all my cases from another lawyer who I call in the book Sid. Thousands of cases a year, millions of dollars. 2011, he walked in the door and he said, I need to come back to your office. I need to see you. We went back to my office and he said, I know I've been sending you cases for 12 years, but this is I'm not sending you any more cases, starting right now. I had 25, 27 employees, had no idea what I was going to do. Lots of mouths to feed. So he left. I was shocked. I was humiliated. I was distraught. I said to John, what are we going to do? Do I start firing people today? He says, give me 10 minutes. He went into his office. He pulled up the jumbotrons, and he realized that we were spending a lot of money in referral fees. All this money that this lawyer was sending us, we were sending $4 or $5 million a year in referral fees. And he says, we can do this. So I said, okay, what do we need to do? He says, you need to take $1 million out of your savings, and you need to invest it back in this firm, and you need to put it all on TV. And if it doesn't work, you lost $1 million. If it works, it works. I said, but I can't do the same shitty lawyer ads that are all around this country. I just said I couldn't do it. So I sat down, I watched these terrible ads, and I took out a piece of paper, and I said, these ads are boring. But who's Mike Morse? I'm fun. They're arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I love to make fun of myself. People, we do focus groups in our community about TV advertising, and one of the things that I get about myself is that I'm approachable. We try to be the good guys. We give a ton back to our community. We have commercials that we stand up to the insurance companies. We stand up to bullies. We give back in every way we can, and they are negative. Our competitors are negative, and we are uplifting, okay? And when I sit with somebody and coach somebody, we look at everything, right? We look at your beautiful websites. We look at your phone numbers, right? At Ring Boost, Paul here, Faust, sells amazing phone numbers. I believe they work. I believe people want to call you person, your brand, your cool phone number, not some, accidentattorney.com without a face. I believe that more people want to connect with you as a person. And I believe that by showing the ads I'm going to show you, while some of you, most of you, hopefully none of you will ever go on TV, but you can do, the reason I'm going to show you these ads is not to show off the ads, although I'm proud of these ads. It's to get your creative juices flowing for social media, for billboards, for video content on LinkedIn. All that stuff is basically free. You all could do something. You can all stand out. You can all create a brand today and just start running with it. And I've seen people in our Fireproof Mastermind putting out, they're basically copying our stuff, and I love it. One of our guys, David Vicknair, puts his mom in the commercials. I put my mom in my commercials, and he's freaking killing it. What market is he in? New Orleans? Yeah, New Orleans. He's killing it down there. So I'm going to show you a couple ads that we just shot. A little background. So my mom has been in my ads for about 10 years, and she's truly the star of the show. You walk around Detroit with me. If you walk around, we were in the Panhandle a year ago, and Paul was wearing one of my T-shirts, and they said, "Where's Sue? Where's Mike's mom?" And Paul's like, "I don't know where Mike's mom is, but there's Mike." They're like, I was looking for his mom. Happens to be all over Detroit. Happens to my mom, and so we've made a bit about it. And here's one of the bits.
Hey, Mom.
Oh, hi, Mike.
We got some fan mail for you at the law firm.
Oh, I get some of that here, too. Would you mind putting it in the fan mail room for me, please?
Fan mail room.
They're arrogant. We're self-deprecating.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mike. I can't talk right now. We're late.
Where are you going? And who's this guy?
Oh, that's you.
Me?
Well, Mike, too. I've got so many engagements as your mom, and you're so busy with your law firm.
Engagements?
With my fans.
But Mom, he doesn't even look like me.
Well, close enough. People don't really focus on you. I'll call you later, Mike 1.
Mike won?
So obviously funny, fun. They're intimidating. This we ran in the local Michigan, Detroit Super Bowl last month.
Mom, what are you wearing? What's with the hat and the sunglasses?
It's my fans.
Your fans.
Mike, you don't know what it's like to be me. Every time I go out, I get swarmed.
I don't know what it's like.
I'm trying to keep a low profile.
Mom, there's no one around. Take off the hat and the sunglasses.
Okay.
I guess she was right.
Oh, you know, we put out these branding ads. You haven't heard anything asking for an auto accident, right? People in my town know what we do. That's at least my theory. They know what we do, and our calls are going through the roof. This is one of our famous.
You see that? Sir, your wallet?
Exclusive video of Mike Morse chasing an ambulance. Mike Morse, known for his ubiquitous
Attorney Mike Morse actually
I guess if you want an ambulance
Michael.
chaser, you might as well get one that can catch it.
Hey, man. You dropped your wallet.
So that was one of the first big production ones we did in Detroit. It's hands down everybody's favorite when they come talk to me, they come see me. The guy who does our ads now is in 13 different states because I mentioned his name in the book and people are using him. But it's easy to come up with different billboard ideas based on this kind of stuff. It's fun, and I can tell you, I used to be friends with Sid and walk around my town, and he was spending $30-40 million a year on his ads, and I was with him for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I never heard somebody come up to him and say, "God, I really love your commercials." Never once, but we hear it all the time. I love your commercials. Where's your mom? And thank you for what you do with our community. And I want to get into that because some of these other tactics I'm going to give you are $1,000 plays, maybe $5,000 plays. Anybody here doing a name, image, or likeness deal currently? Anybody? Who are you guys doing it with? Local guy, Clemson? What sport? And relatively reasonably priced? And how's it going so far? NIL deals. One person in this room is doing it besides me. It's under $5,000 play. Okay? Name, image, likeness. You can pay college athletes money to wear your stuff, post on their social media, be an ambassador to your firm. I know people, I have a very good friend in Louisiana. He's got hundreds of college athletes on his payroll. He has saved teams like, I don't remember, I think it was the volleyball team needed money going under. He sponsored it. It was thousands of dollars, and he was the hero. He is seen as a hero. The coaches come on his commercials, on his billboards, on his social media, and it's not that expensive. So whatever sport, whatever you want to do, you could be. This is the wild, wild west with NIL deals. Michigan just brought a guy into my into Michigan for 12 or 13 million dollars. That guy wants to do commercials with me. We're in negotiations right now, and I'll let you know how that goes. We have a track star here, and we have a gymnast here, and Donovan Edwards and Dylan Tatum are the two football players, and we did some really, really funny spots that I don't have time to show you today. But I would absolutely go to my YouTube channel, 855 Mike Wins, and they're all there. I have 15 different Super Bowl spots. I have the NIL deals. I put these kids on my billboards, social media. And how can you not win with that, right? Yes. Whatever the contract says. Year or in perpetuity. Some of these are in perpetuity. They're going to live on my website. And we did one 2 years ago with a guy named Mike Morse. And he was a star defensive back, Michigan, same name. So we did some fun commercials with my mom. And my mom was hanging out with Mike Morse as his second son, and it was really freaking funny. And then now he's playing for the Seattle Seahawks. And he loved the publicity. I put these guys on the map. I get them more followers. Think about it. I have 65,000 Facebook followers. I have 12,000 Instagram followers. And these guys want that. They don't have that kind of following. So it's whatever you negotiate. And you know, hopefully in your coaching programs and your masterminds, you guys talk about these things. We hand out the contracts. We'll help you negotiate that. We'll tell you what you should pay. You know, part of being in a network of other law firms is because I created this because in my market, when I became the biggest, how many friends did I have who wanted to share with me? Not many. How big of a target did I have in my back? How jealous and envious are lawyers in most states of other people who are doing good? So I didn't have many people I could talk to. So I had to go out there and find mastermind groups. And I found mastermind groups. I'm in some of the biggest mastermind groups in this country, and that's when I said we need to bring Fireproof mastermind groups for 1 million to 5 million level firms, 5 million to 15 million level firms, and over $30 million firms. And they're in a group with 6 to 12 firms talking about this stuff. What's working for you? I can't bring in a case for less than $5,000. What do you think about billboards? How are the masterminds, Chris? You're learning a ton from different people that you can trust in other markets. I'm not putting you in a mastermind with somebody in your market because I want you to stand up and be honest and share everything. We just say we're getting naked and you're going to share everything, what's working, what's not working, and let us help you. You should be in a mastermind group. And you should be in a mastermind group with somebody who's built whatever you want to build. We have criminal mastermind groups. We have family law mastermind groups. People are asking for business mastermind groups. They're the best. Quick story. 3 years ago, I'm in my mastermind group with firms all doing over $50 million a year in revenue. And I'm kind of happy. I had a gentleman in this group tell me that he read my book 5 times, but he doesn't want to grow. And I just, okay. You get the beautiful thing about doing what we get to do is you guys get to choose how big you want to get, how small you want to be. You get to choose. And in Fireproof, we believe that. So you get to choose how big you want to be. So this lawyer who does more money in revenue than I did, he was doing $100 million that year. He says, Michael, you have one of the best run firms in the country. If you decide you want to go from $150 million a year to $300 million a year, you're going to double your intake, double your take-home pay, and it's not going to be any more work for you and no more risk for you. It was a 5-minute conversation, and I looked at my COO and I said, how long will it take, John? And he went to the jumbotrons. He said, 5 years. We can double our firm in 5 years. We would need this many more employees, this much more budget for TV and advertising and social media. And I said, okay. In a mastermind, I made that decision. And this year, we're going to do 267. This is our 3rd year. And next year, we're going to hit 300 million, which will be our 4th year. So we did it a year faster. I'll be going from 150 to 300, 50 million in fees to 100 million in fees in 4 years because I made a decision in a mastermind. Few other things in the few minutes I have left that I want to cover. In order to become fireproof in your market, in your ever-competitive market, I don't care what practice area you're in, I don't care what market you're in, it's competitive. And it's getting worse. Because you have people who've not a lawyer in your state coming in, putting out crazy ads, crazy, stupid radio commercials that apparently work, Mr. Sarner tells me every day. And they're getting calls. The people who have no connection to your community are stealing your business. Stealing your business. So you got to connect with your community so hopefully you have a fighting chance when they're involved in a DUI or they need a divorce attorney or they're in a personal injury accident. So what did I do? I said yes to the University of Michigan Innocence Project. And in 2 years, this man was supposed to die in a pine box in a Michigan prison, serving a life sentence without parole. 13 years into it, I got involved and I got him out of prison. Took 2 years. He's home. He's married. He just had a baby. And it was one of the best things I've done in 32 years of being a lawyer. And the community knows about it. They read about it. There was press conferences. It's on my website. And it was a meaningful thing in my community. We give away 35,000 backpacks a year to the kids who need backpacks. Here are some pictures. We do a dog event twice a year in my parking lot where we adopt out, and I pay for a large chunk of the adoption fees, almost 200 dogs an event. We are now in 18 states. What does that mean? Fireproof clients and people who are sitting in this audience today, if you want to do backpacks in your community, the deck to do it is here. I don't want any credit. I don't want a penny from it, but you can use my logo. You can use where we order the backpacks from. Are you doing them, Chris? Second year, how many did you do? You did 300 last year, 600 this year. And how is the community responding to your backpack giveaway? Tons of free publicity, tons of free content on your websites, on your social media, and your community is responding. How many thank yous did you get? So this will tell you exactly how to do it. You'll get the same pricing that Chris and I get for our backpacks, and it works. So I encourage you to do it. Meet your best friend events. I encourage you. What do people love? They love their animals, and they love their kids. So you're taking care of their kids, and now you're helping put families together. This is an amazing event. Every event we get 200, 300, 400 5-star reviews from people waiting in line, entering contests, and it's a really good feeling. I cry every single time we do one of these events because these families, watching these dogs and these families come together is amazing. We bring 12, 13 vendors of dog rescues in one parking lot, in my parking lot. We call it Meet Your Best Friend at the Paw Firm. We have thousands of people show up, media shows up, police show up because we're blocking traffic for miles. My staff gets to volunteer at the backpack event. We get to make fun videos like...
So tell me your name.
George Warren,
So George Warren, what city do you come from?
West Bloomfield,
And you came here for what?
to get two puppies.
Puppies?
I had two labs before. They just passed 2 years ago, and it's time to get
Where's
new
the other
ones.
one?
The other one is over there with my wife at Premier Pet.
Oh my God, so
Get it
this is a
something.
beautiful, is this a boy or girl?
They're both females.
You completed your home again.
Oh, yeah.
How's that make you feel?
Great. Especially I just had a stroke, so I got to walk. So I have someone to walk with, train, and get my life back together.
That is beautiful. Thank you for coming today. I hope
Thank
this
you.
made it easy for you.
Oh, it did. And I'm so glad that you do this event. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you. Wow.
The content, right? You're all fighting, looking for content every single day. This is not an expensive thing. And you don't have to do it as big as I do it. You could do 10 dogs. You can go to your humane and pay the adoption fees for one person a week. And meet the dog, meet the family. I mean, it's just the best. This is the Innocence Project that I was telling you about. If you want to get involved in your Innocence Project, find them in your state. But it's something unique that we can do as lawyers. You make a difference in your community, and it's fabulous. The other thing that I recently did, because I'm the founder and the visionary of my firm, and I can do whatever the heck it is I want, right? Because I'm working in that upper left box. Well, back in the day, I used to be a really, really prolific trial lawyer. I would try a bunch of cases, and I would win a bunch of cases, dozens and dozens, and then I decided I'm going to build my firm. But last year, I had a case with a horrific set of facts, and I said, I'm going to try this case. So my team helped me, and I had a coach, and they spoon-fed it to me, but I got up and picked the jury and did the opening and did the closing and did a witness, and we got a $75 million verdict. I was on national TV. I was on national Albanian TV, and it's just getting out of your comfort zone to try a case. So, the events are huge. Taking on a pro bono case or anything else in your community to stand out. And, one thing that we love to do is the coaching and the masterminds. And I wish that I had Fireproof or coaching programs like this when I was first starting out. And we are trying to get people into the masterminds. We are going to Park City this year. We have some possibly happening in Puerto Rico. We're going to go to some great locations. Some of my best friends in the legal community right now are people that I still go to masterminds with. And I was in masterminds with not great people who ran them, and I had to leave them. And the key is being in a room of people who are great and like-minded. Because if you get into a group with people that just aren't and they're not wanting to share everything, it's a bad situation. So we're spending a lot of time interviewing people. We're turning away more than half the people because it's just not a fit, or it's just not time for you to be in a mastermind, or it's not time for you to be coaching. But it is time, if you want to scale and grow, to start taking on some of these things. And I don't know anybody who is able to get to the heights of others in the stratospheric level without a coach, right? Our coaching clients sit in groups, and if they're having a problem with HR, they get to talk to my HR person. If they're having a problem with their CFO, or they want to set up a CFO department, or they want to think about other things, they get to talk to the leaders in my firm who have already done it, who've already built an almost $300 million personal injury firm, right? Rather than guessing and doing it yourself and making that many mistakes. And that's what people are telling us, that they're getting the accelerator. They're getting that rocket fuel. They're meeting our vendors. Hey, we need somebody to do this. We need somebody to do that. What are you paying for billboards? What are you doing for that? You get to meet our vendors that we use at our events. We have 2 free live events every year in the spring and summer, Detroit and Phoenix, where you get to come, and we all get to come together, all 100+ firms. That's included in your membership. So we're loving Fireproof. Mike Ruzicki's with me. If you have any questions, Mike, stand up. That's Mike. He's also does all my swag. If you don't give out swag to your clients, you should. I have a huge, beautiful swag room in my office that he could show you a picture of. He sends out a box with a beautiful blanket and sometimes chargers and Yeti mugs in it to welcome the clients into the firm. Because we're all spending thousands of dollars to get that client, and we're not nurturing them. So I'm sending them a $75 box to show them how much I appreciate them and love them. And very few people are leaving my firm after they get that gift. Sometimes they don't come to the office anymore and get to meet me. They don't get to meet my great staff. So sending them a little gift, it's just a wonderful thing. All right, I'm out of time. Thank you so much, everybody.
Mike, stay with us for 1 sec.
Oh, I didn't get questions. You want
Great job, thank you. Yeah, we're a little tight on time, so we started a little late, but I like to sum things up and share some of the great learnings, because it seems to help everybody too, because I've heard Mike a few times, so I have cheat notes. So one thing you talked about was having an operating system, and I talked about EOS and some other operating systems. Here's my pro tip. We both mentioned the book Traction, but if you're the founder of your firm, read the book Get a Grip, especially if you've tried to read Traction. Like a lot of us tried to read Traction. Get a Grip tells EOS in a story format, and you'll get it. It'll change. Like that's what changed for me. I had Traction 10 years ago, and then about 3 years ago, I read Get a Grip, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. So that's a pro tip. And talk to Mike, talk to me, talk to anyone on our team. Brooke Lively's an EOS implementer if you want to learn more about EOS. Second thing that I heard Mike say that made sense, and you referenced me, I talked about it, the jumbotron, or we have our new enhanced reporting system. So you're looking at all the key numbers, like what's your revenue per case? For each lawyer, what's their revenue per case? And the smarter firms are looking very deep and improving those numbers. Your marketing numbers, your web numbers, your leads. Most importantly, what's your percentage of your leads that turn into signed cases? What's your cost per signed case? So your jumbotron, your reporting system, should have your key numbers. And one thing you shared that I thought was fantastic. In your mastermind, and we do the same thing I'm in an agency mastermind, I see my numbers, all my key accounting numbers, and a bunch of the people in the mastermind. I see their numbers, so it gives you a point of comparison. That's awesome, right? Third thing, you had a great tip. Test your systems, your links. Test all the links on your website. Test the forms on your website. And you said, do we do that? Well, we do it. I mean, our technical team does it, but I actually wrote an action item. So remember I said, guys, take your notes, and then the best ones, put them on your list of action items and commit to the things you're going to get done when you leave here. Don't just make notes in your book, right? So I'm going to, for 10 Golden Rules, we're going to create a formal audit every month to test every website and every form. Team, sorry, we're going to, more work, but we're going to do it. All right, so I'm going to ask one question because we're out of time, and hopefully it's a good one. So,
Okay.
But one of the things you said was interesting. And you said that you were paying really high referral fees. And so one of the things that I see a lot of times is, you know, the attorneys are, oh, we love our referrals are great, but then they're paying what, like 30%, sometimes 50% of the case as a referral fee. So how do you gauge the value of a referral fee versus the value of a cost per case that comes in from TV or internet advertising?
Well, it's usually cheaper to get it yourself. But it's almost, if you're competing against guys like me or Morgan & Morgan or people in your market who are spending $20, $30 million, it's hard. So one of the first things when I'm sitting around with somebody that's like, I'm dying, I can't get auto cases. And I say, what city are you in? And they tell me. And I say, name me your 3 biggest TV advertisers or billboard people. And they tell me. They know them, right? They know them off the top of their head. Boom, boom, boom. I said, great. Have you ever called any of these people and asked them for a referral? And they're like, oh, but that's fucking genius. I'm like, it's not genius. It's like, it's just, but why don't you reach out? How do I get to them? And these are all things that I can help with because I'm that guy. I know exactly how to get to me, right? And so there are extra cases out there. And whether or not you have to know your numbers. Is it worth it to pay the 30%, 33%, 40% referral fee or not? Most people, especially when you're starting out, it's worth it. You have zero budget. I was making millions of dollars a year and I had a zero advertising budget. Now I have a $20 million advertising budget. Luckily, it's kept up, and it's kept up with the times of what I make and what the firm does. But it's all an analysis. You know, is it worth it? I mean, right now, there is a very big outside marketer in my firm, in my market, and he's sending me all the cases. So now I got to frickin' pay him a referral fee, which I'm not thrilled about. But do I want my competitors to have those cases? What if that big case comes in that way? So there's so many things to talk about.
Awesome. All right. So next thing, and Mike, we didn't rehearse this, but we're going to do it quickly, and I know he can do it on his toes. What we're going to do is and the team's ready, we're going to put a big line of chairs, like the speed dating, but it's speed networking, and you're going to go face to face, and what you're going to do, you're going to have 90 seconds, 45 seconds each. Name, company, passion, or hobby, and a great introduction. So Mike, go quickly in 45 seconds. Name, company, passion, or hobby, and who would you like to be introduced? What's a great business introduction?
Mike Morse Law Firm, Fireproof Coaching. Hobby is golf and hiking, and we love helping lawyers get to their dream law firms. We love teaching them how to be wildly profitable and predictable. And
that's it. 45 seconds.
That's
all right.
It. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, let's move. Let's get.
Thank you for listening to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. Please send questions and comments to podcast@10goldenrules.com. That is podcast@TENGoldenrules.com.